An emotional week for the royals, not least for the Queen's daughter-in-law, Sophie, Countess of Wessex, who spoke to BBC Radio 5 Live about the deep loss that the whole royal family have been feeling since the death of the Duke of Edinburgh. Let's see a little bit of that now.
I mean, we were lucky enough to go to Scotland for half term. And I don't know if you remember the photograph that I took.
You took of the Queen and the Duke.
It was, I was pregnant with Louise at the time. And we went up there during half term.
You okay?
And just to be there in that place was an oh my God moment. So I think they'll come and go. But you have to let them come and let them go.
The Daily Mail's royal editor, Rebecca English, joins us now. Rebecca, what did you make of that interview? Tell us a little bit more about the context.
Well, I thought it was a fantastic interview. I think she came across as very warm, as very open, as very bright, as very clued up. And obviously the thing that's grabbed the headlines is her very tearful and very emotional comments about the giant-sized hole that the loss of the Duke of Edinburgh has left for the family. But there was so much more to this interview as well. She spoke at length about the work that she's doing in the field of sexual violence being used as a weapon of war, which is something I'm very interested in as well. And she even spoke about her children, who normally she quite kind of ring fences, but Lady Louise, who's 17, and she spoke about how enjoyable it is to be able to discuss her work with her, and even James, who's 13, is much shyer, but she spoke about how proud she was of him, of being aware of the issues around respect for girls and women. I think she came across fantastically, personally.
Would this have been planned that she could speak for the family?
Well, it's probably worth reminding viewers that actually Sophie used to be in PR. She used to run her own PR company. I actually had a successful career in PR even before that. So she's considered a pretty safe pair of hands. So I'm not sure they would have agreed the actual questions. I suspect they would have agreed the kind of the broad theme of the interview. But they, I think they feel that they can kind of let Sophie go, and that they can be fairly confident that she will handle herself in the right way. She rarely puts a foot wrong, if ever. The issues that she's tackling are pretty punchy, I have to say. And they feel that it's kind of long overdue that she steps out from under the shadows and starts to shine in her own right.
Well, let's get the views of the panel on this. Richard, what did you make of that? We don't often see such emotion from royal family members, do we?
It was so raw, this interview. You sort of wondered while watching it, was Sophie wise to have given it? She's obviously very upset, and it's just so unusual to see interviews with members of the royal family. We've had, such raw interviews. We've had Prince Edward last week, and then we've seen Sophie this week. It's been very interesting to see how those two have come to the fore.
Well, it's funny, Charlotte, I'm curious that she seems such a good speaker and so able to connect emotionally with people. Why have they waited so long to bring her out into the fore?
Well, it's so ironic because I actually don't think tears were really allowed while Philip was alive.
I see.
And I think that's got something to do with it, honestly. But also she's a PR woman, her background's PR, so she knows how to play it. And I think she probably realises that it's important for the royal family to be emotional, real people at a time like this with Meghan and Harry.
That suggests that you think that it was artifice.
Well, at first, I have to say, I did think, is this a bit contrived? But then I started going a little bit, so then I sort of bought into her tears in the end. But it's it may be that in a previous life they would have tried to hold back those tears a bit more convincingly, and that now they're not doing so anymore. And it's ironic that Philip wouldn't have really approved, but it's about Philip that she's crying.
But I fully believed it because her voice caught in that way. You know when it's like when you're trying not to cry.
Yeah.
I thought that was interesting. Do you think we will see Sophie as becoming more of a royal family spokesperson?
Well, they do seem to be becoming sort of de facto spokesman for the Queen, really, don't they? When it's Edward and family. And perhaps we'll see more of that, with the Queen taking a bit more of a a back seat, and it seems that it will be Edward and Sophie who'll be sort of stepping in.
That's all we have for you on our YouTube show. But to see the rest of this episode, including some more fascinating royal revelations, head to www.mailplus.co.uk/royals or click the link on screen now.